Welcome to the world's first straight talk Solarcast. This is your go-to podcast for answers about solar. Brought to you by Solar Harmonics in Northern California, who invite their customers to own their energy by purchasing a solar panel system for their home, business, or farm. Each episode, we discuss questions facing people making the decision to go solar. The solutions to your questions are given to you straight by one of the leading experts in the solar industry, Jamie Duran, president of Solar Harmonics. Feel free to search our library for answers to questions that you're facing when considering solar. And now, here's Adam Duran, our host with the questions, and Jamie Duran, our solar expert with Straight Talk Solarcast.
Hello, Jamie.
Hello, Adam.
How's everything in the land of solar this week?
Well, today is probably the biggest day in the history of solar.
What? Oh my gosh. How is that? What do you mean?
Today might be it's pretty strongly could be the end of most solar companies, most residential. And then most leases, most leasing companies, most finance companies, most commercial solar companies. So there you go.
Oh no. It is May 22nd, 2025, and you're declaring solar industry is done.
Yes, I'm going to say, I've always said that once the tax credit goes away for the residential side, it's going to make solar not pencil out and for most of the country. And so that happened today, where the big beautiful bill got approved by the House of Representatives, and it got even worse for solar because there were some changes to it that fully eliminate the solar tax credit for residential. The effective date is December 31st, 2025. That means the system must be installed fully, working and approved by the utility by December 31st, 2025. Like you mentioned, today is May 22nd. So we have about 7 months to install all of these systems. And that is, not just install. That's the hard part, is that it's got to be approved by PG&E. So we've been talking about it on our side here. And just because PG&E has been so slow to approve systems and permits take so long, we're saying our last day to accept a residential project where they need solar will be July 31st. And so if we don't have it under contract and ready to go by July 31st, we'll do our best. But there's so much of it that's out of our control. It could, and PG&E, we went through this already with the net energy metering 3.0, and PG&E still hasn't recovered. So that was in 2023, and they still have. I mean, they haven't added new people to accommodate this, and so it's going to be crazy. Another key provision is that residential leases and power purchase agreements, which we've talked about, 3 out of 4 systems in the U.S. are sold with leases or PPA. There's going to be no credit allowed for this solar anymore. Meaning that right now, if I'm a solar leasing company, I do I install a solar panel system or I use a solar installer, and then we lease that system. The leasing company keeps that 30% tax credit and the depreciation expense. So it's a great deal for them. And now that's going to be no more. So if you lease it, ineligible for credit. So that's going to be the end of every solar leasing company and there's lots of them that finance solar. And, they do very, very well. It's crazy to me that solar companies that do those are somehow losing money, but that happens. And then on the commercial side, so once this bill gets approved, construction has to begin 60 days from the time of that bill. So meaning that if we have we talk with commercial property owners all the time. some of them take a 60-day vacation. It's not like, and so they're hemming and hawing, they're working on financing and blah, 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 all that stuff. But it says only projects that start physical construction within 60 days of the bill becoming law would qualify. So that is pretty crazy, because if we're really not talking to a commercial project or property owner right now, not only they lose the 30% tax credit, they lose the 10% bonus tax credit as well. So we're telling them, and they're like, hey, come on, we don't respond to high pressure sales tactics. I'm like, no, this is not. this is 30%. So if you have $1 million project and we use domestic content, that's 40%, $400,000 that they're giving away. So it's not us. Yeah, that's a lot of money. And so we're saying, that's not us. This is it. And so, it's not us being high pressure. This is us telling you, we don't want you coming back to us saying nobody told us, because solar will still make sense. And PG&E, I'm sure, is licking their chops, because this means that they can make power prices. The stick is going to get twice as hard on this one. So
are there links that you can provide to people, like we put them in the show notes, that show this, so that way if they share this episode with a friend, it's all inclusive?
It might be too late for the friend, and the people who have gone solar, they should kiss their biceps and be Thunder Lips is here, baby, because they did it, and they listened to this podcast, they went solar. The people who are still thinking about it, so we want to wait and see how it goes. Well, we have one. This bill has one more hurdle to pass through the Senate, and then the president has to sign it. Is it his bill? So I'm and the Senate has more. Is expected to. This is going to sail through the Senate, is what we're hearing. So so it's virtually there. So it might be too late. The stock for Sunrun, one of the biggest, dropped 44% in one day today.
Oh my gosh! I got to get off I got to go invest in PG&E. It sounds like, I buy some stock in them. Wow.
PG&E, oil companies are jumping up and down, woohoo! Because none of their incentives, none of their tax credits, none of anything to do with the oil company, they got everything, and it's like, wow, that is everything. That's crazy. The other huge thing that's happening, maybe not huge, or listen, one second. So if you're a solar leasing company, you could accumulate a huge amount of a tax credit. Say like you did $10 million in solar, and you accumulate $3 million in tax credits. You would be able to sell those $3 million tax credits to, say, Google for $2.5 million. And you get $2.5 million in cash. Google gets $3 million in tax credit, and now that's also gone. So further going to destroy the the solar leasing model. So So, but essentially, solar. Why is this important to the guy who's kissing his biceps? That I went solar. Woohoo! I got the third. Well, if your solar company goes out of business, that means there's no one to maintain your system. If your inverter goes out, or any electrical issue, or anything to do with your solar, you're kind of on your own, and it's going to be really difficult. If Sunrun goes out of business, and they're one of the biggest, they buy a lot of equipment, and so solar development will go to zero. And any improvements in solar, that all goes away. If your solar inverter goes out, and the company that made it is out of business, then you're stuck with that, and it will be expensive. Generally, we've seen some companies that are charging $4,000 just to replace a solar monitor. So nothing wrong with the system, but just a solar monitor. So
wow,
still, there's only a few areas where some of the Republican senators have said that they are not quite sure that this makes sense. And that's really what I want to put in the show notes, is if you are in those areas, kindly reach out to your senator and say, hey, bro, we want solar to continue. But yeah, it's there's no phase down on this. This is just chunked and goodbye and good luck. So
wow,
it'll be crazy. All right, Adam, go ahead.
But I thought Elon Musk, isn't he like part owner of Tesla Solar? Isn't he supposed to go, hey, Trump, what are you doing, man? You're going to kill my company. No?
It remains to be seen what's going to happen with Tesla, but it's, their stock has went up today. Everyone else's went down and their stock went up. So I don't know. They're pretty diversified. They're making robots and flamethrowers and batteries and electric cars and everything. So, I think that according to what I've read about Elon Musk is that he's planning to transition the company to artificial intelligence and Optimus robots. So that's what I think is the plan. So we'll see what happens. It was pretty crazy. And like I said, I think today was the biggest day in solar. And so, it might be too late if somebody has not already started the process. But if you have a proposal and you haven't made the move on it, and by the way, whatever proposal you have, it's probably, I would say, prepare to pay a lot more, because now for solar companies, there's only so many projects that they can do. And if they can make it, $30,000 on it, then tomorrow they're going to be saying 60,000 because, that'll be that with that. So, and those are the ones that will be out of business on January 2nd because they're already planning their exit.
And they already went through this in California with the NEM 3.0, right? Like these are the companies that weathered that change.
Yes.
And now, so they got through that, and then now they got to get through this, which is, in your opinion, which is worse?
Oh, the tax credit. When the NEM 3.0 happened, I was like, it's going to be painful. It's not going to be fun. But the companies that are able to pivot and, really do a good job and really stop taking advantage of the customers, those ones are going to be in business. I did say at the time, and we'll look at the show notes, but if the 30% tax credit goes away, that's going to be the end of solar. And it's a sad, but we're everyone in our side here. We're making plans of how we can proceed, and we have some really good ideas of what we're going to do, and some diversifications in our future as well. But it's crazy. It's a crazy world, crazy administration, and now it's get ready. It's going to be more of a roller coaster than ever. Oh, and we didn't even talk about the solar tariffs that were also passed this week too. So,
Mamma mia!
I know.
It's only supposed to be one giant news story per week.
I know. This one was way bigger because it happened this morning in the wee hours. It happened that they passed the House. So, passed by one vote. So, yippee!
Wow. Okay.
Yep. We'll wrap it up there, and we'll talk more about it in the coming weeks, unless there's something even more gigantic, as a meteor hits in the next week or something.
Okay, we're going to wrap it up there. Thanks for taking a few minutes more out of your week to learn a little bit about solar. Mark this day in your calendars when everything has changed again. Wow. Thanks, Jamie, for keeping us up to date. This is all super valuable information. If you have a friend considering going solar, probably throw your phone at them so they can listen to this episode, because this will, if they get on it, probably save them a lot of money, especially over the life of their system. If you have a question for Jamie for an upcoming episode, you can go to our Facebook page, send us a message through there, or you can go to our website, solarharmonics.com. Click on the podcast link at the top of the page, and you'll be taken to a library of our past episodes, and you can search it to your heart's content. Until next time, everyone. See you.
That's all for now. Thank you for listening to this episode of Straight Talk Solarcast with solar expert Jamie Duran. Join us each week for more answers to your solar questions. Speaking of questions, got some? Email us at solarcast@solarharmonics.com, and we'll be sure to give you an answer in an upcoming episode. This episode of Straight Talk Solarcast is brought to you by Solar Harmonics, the leading solar energy developer in Northern California, who invite you to own your energy. Visit them on the web at www.solarharmonics.com.